What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Delmarva Sports Insider, the only live and local show dedicated to giving you all local sports all the time. I'm Sports Director Trayvon Miles.
That's right, and I'm Brandon Bosser. We've got you covered for the next half hour with wall-to-wall local sports coverage. And Trey, it's pretty much Christmas in September for this episode because we're talking about something that isn't going on until late December.
Yeah, absolutely right. Welcome into the Delmarva Sports Insider. This is officially the first DSI with the newly crowned 32-year-old Ulysses Garcia.
All right, UG. Happy birthday.
Welcome back, buddy, and it's always good to be on the greatest show in America. Some big news dropped yesterday afternoon in the midst of everything, Brandon, being canceled.
Yep.
A bit of hope, might I say. The Governor's Challenge is officially on this winter, but there are some big changes. The event will be held for 3 days only, December 28th through the 30th. Private schools are welcome to participate, but public schools must be cleared by their state's governing athletic body, which basically means unless teams are playing seasons, they're not going to be there.
Basically, the DIAA or MPSSAA have to approve it.
The Gov Challenge will also be limited to 36 teams tops compared to the 130 we saw a year ago. Spectators will not be allowed in to watch the event this year, but the entire tournament will be shown via live stream.
That's right. New this year, thanks to the pandemic, is the Governor's Challenge Select, which is designed for individual athletes. Now, the Select will be limited to 160 athletes. Registration will be $200 each, but there could be scholarship opportunities available to help athletes who want to participate, namely from public schools. The Select will be held from December 4th to the 6th. And Tournament Director James Simmons sees a lot of different possibilities down the road, all of it, of course, dependent upon what happens with the coronavirus.
So there is a lot more to dive into this. This is set to be a Governor's Challenge unlike anything we've ever seen before.
That's right. And we spoke with James Simmons about this year's event for this week's Insider Interview.
We've had our eyes on it for quite some time now, for several months. It normally takes us a full year to pull off that event, and there have been a lot of conversations with the health department. I've been involved for quite a few months on what the guidelines are for youth sports and amateur sports, and how to do it safely, how to do it right. And we're not going to do anything that's not safe and not anything that the health department doesn't approve of. That's first and foremost. But we feel that we're going to provide an environment that does provide that safety and does take those folks into account and do our due diligence to make it safe. We've been 130 teams and the largest in the nation. This year, we're just hoping to pull off an event. So a 24 to 36 team event, most likely all private schools. So the only way public schools would be allowed to take part is based on their state athletic associations. Unless that changes, you won't see public schools in the event. If that does change, then we're certainly open to public schools being a part. They're a huge part of the event. When public schools were kind of held out, we made the decision, let's move forward with a private school event, but we got to find some way that we can safely and effectively get them the exposure that they need as well. So that's kind of where the Governor's Challenge Select was born from. Anything from skill development with college coaches. We're working on a lot of Division III level college coaches to be a part of that event and actually get to coach the kids. We're going to have, what you normally see at Governor's Challenge with contests and that kind of a thing, but skill development by the position, a lot of different training. We want to give kids training on interviews and what they can use social media to their advantage, the recruiting process, all those things play into them becoming a collegiate basketball player. There's some scholarship opportunities that we can support, especially local athletes from Delmarva to take part. So more details will come out about that, but that's something that we're working on. And then the second piece is we'll be able to control the registration piece as far as who's going to get into the event. So we'll be able to make sure that it does hit the mark, getting those public schools into the event. I can promise you that we'll definitely won't just have an empty arena. There will definitely be atmosphere and a big part of our event. So, what again, I don't know, but that's something that I put our team on, and I think we'll do a great job with. 2020 has been a rough year for everything, not just sports, and I'm proud of our team for coming together, thinking creatively, and trying, and not throwing in the towel. There's been plenty of times where we've wanted to throw our hands up and say, all right, this just isn't meant to be. But I think we've persevered through it, and maybe it's just because I'm crazy enough that I love the event enough that I want to make it happen. But we've really worked hard to try to be able to provide an opportunity and give people some sense of normalcy. If we're not able to have fans, that's going to be tough. But we're hoping we get to a point where by December we're in a better place, not just in sports but all over the country.
Some of these changes, Brandon, I got to admit, are pretty exciting. It'll be interesting to see the Governor's Challenge select the event for individual athletes. The capacity, however, is limited to 160 athletes.
That's right, and the select will be held from December 4th through the 6th. The Governor's Challenge is December 28th through the 30th.
Yeah, no matter what the Gov Challenge looks like, to me, honestly, I think it's still good and will always go down. Always fun to be there, to see the local talent, to see the talent from all across the country. I think one of the more interesting things I want to see is exactly what teams are going to participate, especially as far as the private schools go. You have to think this is a huge opportunity for the folks at the Governor's Challenge to take advantage, being the only show in town, so to speak, with the other tournament in Lewis being canceled this year. So will we see a bunch of local privates, or will we see the big preps, the St. Anthony's and the Bosco preps, and some of those super nationally ranked teams that we haven't seen in the past? I think it'll be interesting.
It's definitely a possibility, Trey, especially with the MPSSAA and Virginia and DIAA all saying that we're not going to have fall sports and winter sports being pushed back as well. I mean, it's great to see that we're going to have a Governor's Challenge this year, even if it's on a smaller scale than what we're used to. I'm interested in this new event, the Governor's Challenge Select, to see it in action. And even though the virus has robbed us of so many things this year, this is a silver lining right here. This is something we wouldn't have without coronavirus, and it could be something to really help with a lot of local athletes around here go from the high school level to the college level, and it's something very interesting to see, especially when you hear D3 college coaches are interested in participating in this event. Yeah,
I think that this is just another pipeline, and James said it. The folks at the Governor's Challenge, we got to give them credit. They did not give up. They did not just throw in the towel on this thing, and I think they have a little bit of leeway with things being in December and hoping that this coronavirus slows down a little bit more than what we've anticipated it already has. But kudos to the guys at the Gov Challenge, man. It's really, really difficult to put this thing together. They literally start as soon as the first one's over. So they've been started on this, and for the coronavirus to just get in the way and for them just to kind of get back on their feet, pretty cool from them. All right, on to another story affecting what we do right here at 47 ABC. Governor John Carney and the Division of Public Health released new guidance on playing fall sports safely in the first state. Brandon, my goodness, the new guidance categorizes sports by risk, high, medium, and low, and requires organizers to enforce masks, social distancing, and other preventative measures to keep players, families, and coaches safe.
That's right, and according to the guidance, anyone playing a high-risk sport such as football and wrestling must wear a face mask at all times, and the DIAA is set to meet next Tuesday and are expected to reopen the possibility that fall sports could return. So, Trey, very interesting to watch out for this Tuesday. Stick with 47 ABC definitely for all that news, but we'll see if DIAA does a complete 180 right here and decides, hey, you know what? Maybe we'll have fall sports.
Honestly, would you be surprised with what we've been seeing go on, not only in the college game, but in the country over the high school level? We see the Big Ten looking like they're about to switch fortunes. Now we've seen local high school or high schools in different states also talk about doing something different.
Yeah.
So maybe we see the DIAA. I would say if Delaware does get this thing open, then the kids in Maryland absolutely have a quip.
Yeah, we'll see about it. But I think that what this shows is across the country is people really don't know how to handle the coronavirus at this point when it comes to sports, whether it's at a national level or whether it's at a local level like we're dealing with here.
Yeah, absolutely right. All right, that's going to do it for the A block. We're taking a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're giving you an all-new After the Whistle. That and much, much more when the Delmarva Sports Insider returns.
I'm Liana Pettit, and I'm with Wacomico High School, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.